The Shanae versus Elizabeth feud has finally come to a dramatic end. Hey guys, welcome back to another Bachelor Nation update. The battle between Shanae and Elizabeth officially ended during last night's episode of The Bachelor. So, spoiler alert, we will be recapping what happened. But before we get into it, make sure that you subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. We got another episode that kicked right off with a cocktail party, and we picked up right where we left off after last week's episode where Clayton confronted Shanae and Elizabeth separately. The conversations caused Clayton to be in a very somber mood. He even said, quote, "The drama that's unfolding between Shanae and Elizabeth is starting to affect time that I get to spend with the other women." He approached all of the women in the house to say that he couldn't move forward with the cocktail party until he addressed the issues. And then the moment we have all been waiting for, Clayton decided to sit Shanae and Elizabeth down together to talk about what was going on. He told them that he felt a connection with both of them, but couldn't continue to build a relationship with either of them with the conflict going on. Elizabeth then told Clayton that she tried to speak with Shanae once again, but Shanae told her to F off. Shanae responded to this by saying that Elizabeth is toxic and a bully. When Elizabeth asked Shanae to elaborate on a situation in which she was a bully, it somehow turned the conversation into a fight over shrimp. Shanae said that when she made shrimp and offered it to everyone after Elizabeth did it last week, none of the women took any of her shrimp or even acknowledged her. Shanae then essentially blamed Elizabeth for the fact that all of the rest of the women in the house don't speak to her. And you guys, the funniest thing about this whole conversation was the look on Clayton's face. He was just sitting between these two as they were going at it over shrimp. And he even said in an on-camera interview, quote, "We're not talking about relationships. We're not talking about growing together. We are talking about shrimp and the hot tub and whether or not Elizabeth was there. We're not resolving conflict. We're talking about shrimp." Clayton walked away from the women, and Shanae and Elizabeth returned back to the cocktail party. And then, of course, Shanae grabbed a bunch of shrimp, put it on her plate, and then started offering it to the rest of the women as she shoved it into her mouth. The women were all clearly baffled and annoyed with her. Genevieve even spoke up to tell Shanae that it's not about shrimp, it's about people's feelings. Shortly after, Jesse came out to tell the women that Clayton decided to cancel the cocktail party and go straight into the rose ceremony. Now, a ton of women expressed their concerns as they didn't even have a chance to talk to Clayton, and even Elizabeth was worried and broke down because she felt as though it was her fault that the rest of the women didn't get their time with Clayton, and she felt really bad about it. Clayton ended up sending Melina, Kira, and Elizabeth home. Shanae then celebrated Elizabeth's elimination in an on-camera interview, saying that Shanae was the winner. You guys, I literally jumped off of my couch in disbelief because I was totally rooting for Elizabeth all the way, and I can't believe that Clayton had the audacity to keep Shanae and fall for all of her blatant lies and her immature behavior. I mean, I think that Elizabeth deserves someone that will actually take the time to listen to her and see the good in her. Clayton is just digging his own grave at this point, and I will just never get over how he's not seeing what the rest of the women in the house are seeing with Shanae. Now, this also leaves the question of who Shanae's next victim will be now that Elizabeth is gone. Although all of the women are collectively annoyed with Shanae, only some of the women are actually speaking out about it. We saw Genevieve yell at Shanae over the shrimp, and we also saw Genevieve along with Gabby and Sierra have a conversation about how they were planning to tell Clayton about Shanae, and Shanae actually overheard this conversation through her wall. On the group date, Sierra even went out of her way to tackle Shanae during the football game as many times as she could. Although Shanae was on the losing team that didn't get to spend the nighttime portion of the date with Clayton, she of course showed up to the date anyway. She interrupted Sarah's conversation to tell Clayton that all of the women were ganging up on her in order to try and send her home. Clayton, being Clayton, obviously decided to believe her, and then they made out on top of a bar. When Shanae was done talking to Clayton, she then stormed over to the women who were shocked to see her. She told Genevieve and Sierra to keep her name out of her effing mouth and took the football trophy and threw it into the bushes. She then told the cameras in an interview that it is now the Shanae show and not The Bachelor anymore. By the looks of it for the preview next week, the Shanae drama will not be slowing down anytime soon, and we will just have to see what happens in next week's episode. But for now, that is all I have for you guys. But I want to know all your thoughts about how you feel about Shanae and Elizabeth being sent home last night down in the comments below. And again, make sure that you subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. I'm your host, Gianna Gravelisi. If you want to give me a follow and come say hello. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!